Доброго времени суток, друзья, dWayfer на связи. Сегодня будем смотреть альтернативные варианты развития в игре The Forgotten City. Основную концовку мы уже посмотрели, в которой можно выбраться вместе с Эллом из древнего города. Точнее, из подземного мира, такого загробного мира греческого и римского. Для начала посмотрим, что будет, если Синтилию не спасать. Добрый вечер, Ольга. Приятного просмотра. Я на данный момент вижу два варианта развития событий. Это найти все таблички и позволить Галериону, точнее Галерию, выиграть в выборах. Может, еще какой-то есть? Ну. Так.
You're here. I'm Centella. Cent. I don't know. Behind me. The only problem. I'm done. There won't be enough. What? No. I hate you. I spit on you. I hope Dis drags you to Tartarus.
Так. Дверь все так же не открывается. Ключа здесь нигде нет. Нет. Может, когда-нибудь и до мода доберусь. Посмотрим. Так. Ключа здесь нету, да? Ладно. Значит, тем же путем выбираться, которым пришли. Девушку, конечно, очень жалко так бросать. Так, что Сенти скажет на это?
I hope you have a good reason for flouting my weapons ban. We're finally alone. I assume you already... We have? Wait, if I understand correctly, I must have... Is that about... Look, it's unfortunate. All that matters now is that you make use of what you've learned and gathered. Now, I assume you've sought me out again for a reason. Me? What are you talking about?
Ты держишь ее взаперти в цистерне.
You know, you remind me of him.
Кого?
Al Worth. The fellow who came through the portal before you.
Ты помнишь его?
Come now. Surely you didn't think you were the only one here who remembered everything. You see, my connection to the portal somehow preserves my memories from one loop to the next. Whether that was Proserpina's intention or a happy accident, I'll never know. But I'm surprised you hadn't noticed. Here I was. He was a moralist.
Те же самые диалоги, если спасти ее.
I watched him come through, and when the next time I awoke, you showed up. I mean, you've lived through the day, what, 5 times? Extremely. And yet everything you've done has, because there's no escape. So, you discovered my...
Ты знал, что отсюда есть выход. Ты даже запер собственную дочь, чтобы она не выдала этот секрет. Зачем?
Why? Isn't it obvious? Because I have grown attached to all this. My title, my beautiful villa, the sun on my face, the music of birds chirping. And as long as this day keeps repeating itself, I have found a way to prolong my life indefinitely. To cheat death.
Отдавай ключ от выхода.
And why would I agree to that?
Если ты не отдашь его, тебя могут свергнуть.
You might want to think that through. If anyone so much as touches me, everyone dies.
Это было бы правильным поступком.
You and your pathetic morality. Nobody cares about your opinions, least of all, me. Understand that to me, you've never been anything more than a useful idiot, and you're no longer useful. The only way you're getting this key is over my dead body. And if I die, I won't be able to open the portal for you again, meaning you'll have created a paradox. You see, it was my actions that brought you to this point in time, so if you kill me, you'll stop me from doing so, and you being here will be an impossibility. That means if I die, you'll be flung back to your original time, having caused the deaths of everyone here, and you'll never be able to undo it. Is that what you want?
Это еще не конец.
I certainly hope not. In fact, I want it to go on and on forever, until you wither and die like Al did, and the gods send yet another useful idiot to extend my life for me.
Я найду способ сломать цикл и тебя вместе с ним.
What are you going to do? Beg the gods for help? They don't care about you, and neither do I. Now, get out of my villa. I'm bored with you.
Угу. И что теперь? Так. Ладно, попробуем продвигать галерея. Ну-ка, а если теперь...
So you survived the cistern. Probably just a stroke of fortune.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
А, он все-таки бежит. Все-таки ему охота жить бесконечно. Да, получается так. Он еще и издевается. Да, он помнит каждый повтор. Что ж, попробуем теперь победить в выборах.
Salve, friend. Mind telling? Oh, so Yulia. All right, let me see. Stop, Fabio. What? Are you? You're serious, aren't you? I doubt Domitius will let me talk to him, but I'll make sure he passes on the message. Poor guy. My uncle was a victim at rumor. I'll go, but once I'm done...
Так. Ну-ка, как в этот раз дела пойдут у него.
The 49 melodies fetch again.
Listen.
There's a troublemaker coming into the city.
I know, and I'll take care of him. Just go and hide, but not in the
Зато он живет бесконечно,
Did you know I was
по его мнению.
No time to explain. Go.
All right, I'll be in my bakery. Thank you, Galerius.
Don't shoot. I'm no threat. You'll find what you're looking for in the avenue. Second building on your left. I've got to run.
Thank you. For your service to the Empire, I'll let you live for now, but you'd best make sure our paths don't cross again.
Wonder how much one of these statues is worth on the outside. Lucretia, no time to explain. I'm supposed to give you the Sylphium resin for Yulia.
What? Quick, give it here. I'm just going to help her swallow this. I think she's going to be all right. Galerius, you're amazing. How did you know?
I was just doing what the new guy told me.
I don't understand. How did... Never mind. Thank you so much for acting as quickly as you did. Another moment, we would have lost her.
Can't stay. Places to be.
Кстати, да, если Элворд прожил столько дней, что он постарел, будучи изначально молодым парнем. Это сколько лет прошло? Как минимум 40, наверное. То есть...
Salve, Rufius. I hear you've been suffering from rheumatism. I'm sorry to hear about that, friend.
What? My condition is nobody's business but mine.
There's no need for that. I just wanted to give you this willow bark to help you treat it.
A treatment? Really? Thank God. Finally, some relief after all this time. You're a good man, Galerius.
Appreciate that. Now, I've got to run.
То есть он очень-очень долго все это переживает.
What now?
I have a message from Malleolus.
Yeah? Who's it from?
The Emperor. He knows Malleolus's real name is Quinctius, thanks to Claudia, and demands he withdraw from the election and release Ulpius and Iulia immediately.
Are you out of your mind, farm boy?
Domitius, that's enough.
What? You're not going to listen to this dolt, are you?
Galerius, all right, I'll withdraw, and Ulpius and Julia are free. I trust our business is concluded?
Yes, that ought to do it. I guess I'll go and tell Ulpius the good news then.
Так.
Citizen.
Ну да, получается, он по всем гражданам пробежал.
Ulpius, Malleolus has agreed to release you and Iulia from your debts.
What? Are you messing with me?
I wouldn't do that. You're both free.
We're free. We're free. Thank you. It seems fortune smiles on us after all. I'd better go and pay a visit to Iulia immediately.
Так. Еще куда-то побежит.
Citizen.
А, нет. Все.
Iulia. I'm so glad you didn't go through with it.
It wasn't for lack of trying. And now Malleolus is going to... Wait. Why do you look so happy?
We're free. Malleolus just released us and we never have to set foot in that villa again.
What? How?
Galerius arranged it somehow.
Really? That's... incredible. Oh, what a relief. I don't know what to say.
You don't need to say anything. Just rest up, get your strength back, and we'll celebrate properly when you're ready.
I will. Thank you, Ulpius. I will.
Так.
Don't believe a word they tell you.
А.
You want to be magistrate, sir. All that work, all that money wasted.
Those are my orders. Carry them out.
As you wish, sir.
Так, сейчас этот расскажет жрица. И после этого галерий.
Priestess, Malleolus has decided to withdraw from the election.
Oh, well, that's surprising. But thank you for telling me. I'll let everyone know.
После этого галерия может участвовать в выборах.
Citizens, I have an announcement. Malleolus has withdrawn his candidacy from today's election. Unless any new challengers are nominated by nightfall, Sentius will be re-elected magistrate by default.
Actually, I'd like to nominate myself, if that's all right.
Of course, Galerius, that's your right. Citizens, the election will proceed.
Отлично.
Salve again, friend. I went and did as you asked, and it worked. How is it possible that you've just arrived here and you already know everyone and exactly what's about to happen to them?
Не могу сейчас говорить.
Oh, of course. I'll leave you to it then.
Так. Интересно, чем это закончится в этот раз? Привет. Так. Поищем скрижали пока.
Ah, a fellow traveler from a faraway land. Greetings, I'm Georgius. My friend.
Я ищу Хабаша. Говорят, ты последний, кто его видел.
Ah, I knew this day would come. I do not wish to lie to you, my friend, but even discussing this matter is dangerous. Please, let us leave the live coals safely beneath the ash.
Доверься мне. Сам ведь сказал, нам, иностранцам, надо держаться вместе.
Very well, but the magistrate would not look kindly upon this, so please keep it to yourself. For several months now, I have been sneaking out at night to worship the gods of my ancestors in the temple of Demeter. Each day, I leave offerings of food in the hope that we may have a bountiful harvest, and yet the next day when I return, the food is missing.
И в чем проблема?
The offering, it is symbolic, you see. It is never eaten. So I ask, who or what is devouring the food in this temple? Stranger still. Once I sat in front of my shop like the 100-eyed Argus until dawn to see if I could spot a thief going in. But do you know what I saw?
Понятия не имею.
Nothing. Nobody entered. And yet when I went to take a look, my offering was gone. It is bizarre, is it not? When I told my friend Kabash of this at the tavern, he offered to help investigate. He went in, and to my dismay, he was never seen again.
Тогда я схожу туда.
I do not think you should pursue this, my friend. It would break my heart to be responsible for two people disappearing. But you do not strike me as a kind of person to be deterred by such warnings, so just be careful, I beg you.
Спасибо. А это не тот храм, где лук золотой был? Вроде бы нет. Или все-таки это он? Так, вечер еще не настал.
Isn't the great temple majestic?
Ладно, сохранюсь, и если что, можно будет загрузить. Надеюсь, к выборам успею. Вот мне интересно будет посмотреть, к чему это приведет. По идее, перезагрузка начинается, если кто-то на кого-то нападет или что-то типа того сделает. Разве что он сам с кулаками бросаться на людей начнет. Или Malleolus что-то придумает.
Isn't the great temple majestic? A new face, Ave.
Как продвигаются выборы? Еще раз спрошу.
It must be completed by dusk, just the same as any other official business. It'll be between Sentius, the incumbent, and Galerius, the challenger. Why do you ask?
А мы можем провести выборы сейчас?
As I said, I'm planning to hold it before dusk, but I suppose I could hold it sooner, if there's a good reason.
Если начать раньше, получится избежать конфликтов между голосующими.
Yes, I have overheard some rather unpleasant arguments. The last thing we need here is additional conflict. Very well, I'll get things started right away.
Сейчас посмотрим.
Citizens, it is time. Let us meet to elect our magistrate.
Вот, кстати, интересно, если Сентий сейчас проиграет в выборах и день каким-то образом перезапустится, он будет предпринимать что-то, чтобы галерию не дать победить в следующий раз? Это игрой предусмотрено будет или нет? Если он все помнит. Ну-ка, ну-ка.
Citizens, we have a quorate body of voters gathered here to elect the city's magistrate. The candidates are Sextus Sentius Imperiosus and late nominee Gallus Galerius Helva. Marcus Malleolus Gurges withdrew his candidacy earlier today. As agreed, we shall dispense with ballots and candidates will abstain from voting. Let's make this quick. As I say your name, call your vote. I'll start with you, Horatius.
Sentius, of course.
Georgius.
Galerius. He saved the life of my dear friend Fabia.
Dacius.
Sentius.
Virgil.
Sentius.
Ulpius.
Galerius, the man who saved my life.
Rufius.
The man who treated my rheumatism. Galerius.
Citizens, you have made your decision. But it seems we have a draw. In the absence of a clear consensus, Sentius shall continue as acting magistrate until a new election is held, 1 month from today.
My fellow citizens, today you have sent me a message, and I want you to know I have heard it loud and clear. I vow to spend the next month winning back your trust. Thank you for this opportunity, and may the gods watch over you.
You and your rival, whatever your name is, you're responsible for this, aren't you? Nobody likes cap-and-murder foreigners interfering in an election.
Shut up and let the magistrate speak.
Malleolus is going to be magistrate by the end of the day.
You have no idea what you're doing. You're going to get us all killed.
Just stay out of our way, and we won't have a problem.
Wait, I will not allow you to do this.
You're showing your true colors now, priestess. Your corruption sickens me. Domitius, ignore her. Proceed.
This is insanity. You'll doom us all.
Lies! It is time the Golden Rule was exposed for what it is. A children's fable, exploited by a treacherous leader to instill fear in all of us.
The Golden Rule is real, you idiot.
Shut up, all of you. The magistrate has spoken. I'm going to enjoy killing you, old man.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
И опять. А кого еще можно переубедить? Ладно.
Salve, friend. Mind tell... Oh. Yulia. All right, let me see. What? Poor girl. I'll go.
Отлично. Так. Где-то здесь еще один легионер.
Ixion turns.
Ага, вот он.
Fear is proof of a degenerate mind. What is it, citizen? Not that it's any of your...
Понятно. С этим бесполезно. А с этим?
How come you're allowed a weapon and I'm not?
А, кстати.
Keep an eye out for Scintilla, would you?
А куда магистрат пропал? Почему он не стоит на лестнице? Вот это уже интересно.
Oh, another one fresh out of the bar. Oh, I wish I... Oh,
Мне удалось найти ее. Твой отец держит ее связанной в верхней цистерне.
what? Is this some kind of crude commoner joke?
Это не шутка.
No, surely not. Father, is this true?
I'm afraid it is.
I don't understand. Why? Why would you do such a thing?
Because she found a way out. And if you're wondering why I'm telling you this, it's because you're never going to remember any of it. All I have to do is commit a sin, and the day will begin again. Watch this. I'm going to kill you now.
Ах ты,
Many
зараза.
shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Salve, friend. What? Oh. You all right. I'll go.
Нет, на выборах, как я и предполагал, Малеол опять пришел и захотел убить Сенти. А кого еще можно уговорить?
All weapons are to be tossed into the chasm. What is it, citizen?
Так.
He's one of the better commanders. Treat your incarnus from a... Not that it's any of your business. All right?
Ну да, магистрата уже на своем месте нету. Я полагаю, он на втором этаже где-то? Ага.
I thought I told you to get out of my villa. I'm bored with you.
А я уже относил.
Oh, another one fresh out of the baths, I take it. Oh,
Так.
I trust.
Сейчас всем спасением всех и разубеждением Малеола участвовать в выборах занимается Галерий.
Keep an eye out for Scintilla, would you?
К тому же его жена вроде не голосует.
I'm not supposed to talk.
Нет, у нее тоже ничего нового.
Finally. This is outrageous.
What now?
I have a message from Malleolus.
Yeah? Who's it from?
The Emperor. He knows Malleolus's real name is Quinctius, thanks to Claudia, and demands he withdraw from the election and release Ulpius and Iulia immediately.
Are you out of your mind, farm boy?
Vidius, that's enough.
What? You're not going to listen to this dolt, are you?
Galerius, all right, I'll withdraw, and Ulpius and Julian are free.
Странно, почему этому про Сентилию ничего нельзя сказать.
Not that it's any of your business.
Он же вроде как просит ее найти. А это чей домик? А, это храм. Так. И еще нет. Не выпускали.
That, my friend, is quite the dilemma. But after some I do not enjoy the... Nothing comes to my mind, my friend. That, my friend, is quite the... I do not enjoy... Nothing comes to my mind, my friend. I hope that our paths cross again soon, my...
Его, получается, выпускать тоже смысла. Хотя, если скрижаль искать... Но это галерей должен победить опять-таки. Потому что сети ни в какую ключ не даст. Ни от клетки, ни от цистерны. Мне удалось добыть его в храме Дианы, но в итоге выяснилось, что ты запер меня с разъяренными осами. У меня получилось сбежать, и пройдя ужасающие испытания в дворце, и вернувшись назад во времени, я сейчас говорю с тобой.
Are you well, stranger? Have you been out in the sun too long? You seem a little confused. Perhaps you should go and see Lucretia in a clinic. Malleolus. I mean, Sentius couldn't even keep his daughter safe.
Так, нет. Сейчас подождем, пока Malleolus с выборов снимется. И еще раз с этими двумя переговорим. Так, вот жрица идет. Она ведь идет?
Malleolus has decided to withdraw from the election.
Oh, well, that's surprising. Thank you for telling me. I'll let everyone know. Citizens, I have an announcement. Malleolus has withdrawn his candidacy from today's election. Unless any new challengers are nominated by nightfall, Sentius will be re-elected magistrate by default.
Actually, I'd like to nominate myself, if that's all right.
Of course, Galerius, that's your right. Citizens, the election will proceed.
Отлично.
Salve again, friend. I went... How is it? You're toying with me, right? You're a bit like Sisyphus. Yeah, that's the one. Sisyphus was he was forcing Tantal. Oh. Anyway, so I'll tell you what. I'll keep doing whatever I can to. Oh, and I'm in the running for magistrate. Feeling kind of nervous, but I'm hoping it'll all be worth it when I order Dooley's release. I just hope I'll have the votes I need.
Думаю, ты отлично справишься.
Oh, that's kind of you to say. Now, I'm going to keep your secret. Although, it's not as if I'll remember this next time we talk anyway, right? Oh, and if our conversations ever start to annoy you, just tell me you're busy. I know when I'm not wanted. May fortune smile on you, friend.
Так, ну попробуем переубедить.
You look well, my son. Hello again, my Sarto. Galerius. But of course.
Отлично. Это за галерея теперь. А ты?
Ah, a new face. So, I hear we have you to thank for... Well, Sentius seems to know what he's doing. Nobody's broken the golden rule under his watch so far. My vote isn't for sale. Well,
Никогда.
my vote...
Ладно. Я заметил надпись. С чего кому-то считать тебя грешником?
Look, I haven't done anything wrong, if that's what you're thinking. Somebody just has a problem with my preference for male company.
Понятно.
And when you grow up in the north, as I did, in the city of Noviomagos, you expect a bit of hostility. The Batavi are not known for their tolerance. I saw enough friends killed or driven away to know the cost of not keeping your personal affairs to yourself. So I hid who I was for, what was it, nearly 10 years? Watching what I said and where I looked. But that kind of fear eats away at you slowly, until living isn't any better than the thing you were afraid of. Needless to say, since I'm now living underground, halfway across the known world, with an assumed name, my openness didn't go down well among the enlightened folk of the Batavi.
Мне жаль это слышать.
Nice of you to say, but not necessary. In any case, the Romans are far more accepting, and among them, I get to be who I am. Or at least, I thought that was the case. It seems I was wrong.
Ты знаешь, кто пишет эти надписи?
It's not just graffiti. I have quite a collection of handwritten notes too. The strange thing is, I keep my personal affairs to myself. I've never really been interested in any of the men here. Not my type. So I'm not sure what I could have done to upset this person. If I had to guess, I'd say it's probably one of those cultists.
Сектантов?
Strange bunch. They insist there's only one God, and that he considers my nature as sin. Can you believe that? If there are any of them here, they won't admit it. Not since they supposedly burnt down half of Rome last year and went into hiding. All I know is, if these threats keep escalating, eventually my secret admirer is going to cross a line and break the golden rule.
Может, я выясню, кто это?
What? Really? I didn't expect that. But thanks. It's always a pleasure to meet someone so selfless. I'm glad you arrived when you did. I'd start by figuring out who the cultists are. Or maybe ask around among the merchants here. Someone who lives or works in the forum must have seen something. But if you find them, please don't hurt or humiliate them. I suspect they're just confused. Come back and let me know what you find.
Так. А пока... можно переубедить.
Whatever's in that great temple. Hello there, friend. May I... I don't, I'm afraid. But I did overhear Fabia telling Georgius she saw something.
Я даже не знаю, что его тут до ручки может довести.
Sentius, I suppose. Stability is all...
Мне бы хотелось, чтобы ты проголосовал за Галерия.
Yeah? And what's he gonna do for me? He's nothing.
А может, насчет подарка поговорим?
Certainly, for a few thousand denarii.
Ты точно знаешь, что это не нарушит золотое правило?
Nothing illegal about it? Well, that's a shame. Come back if you...
Все дело в деньгах, значит. А сколько у меня монеток? Почти 2000. А его это не волнует. Даже если я ему выборы срываю, он все равно бежит открывать портал, поскольку день проживать хочет заново.
Salve and welcome. Terrible shame that is. Maybe this'll help. Late last night, I was cleaning my oven when I heard some noises outside. The forum's usually dead quiet at that hour, so I came out to see what was going on. To be honest, I thought maybe poor old Dooley had got out of his cell and was snooping around again. So I popped my head out and saw someone in front of Virgil's shop. I couldn't tell who, it was too dark. I called out to them, but they just turned and ran off without a word. All I remember is they ran past a lit torch, and the light glinted off something metallic. Armor, I think. So I suppose it could only be one of three people. Horatius, Domitius, or Rufius. I hope that helps.
Спасибо, это ценная информация.
All right. Thanks again for taking.
Так, где бы еще 50 монет достать?
Citizen.
A golden bow, just like Apollo and Diana's.
Citizen.
A golden bow,
Так.
just like Apollo and Diana's.
Name's Rufius.
Это ты угрожал Вергилию?
No idea what you're talking about. Hilarious. Sort. Fine. See you around.
Так, осталось два варианта.
That's quite an impressive bow.
Oi!
Но это тоже вряд ли.
Do I seem like anonymous threats in my style? Whatever. Just remember.
Значит, ты.
What now? What? Absolutely not. I know someone's been threatening him, and I'm not happy about it. But I can assure you, it isn't me.
Я знаю, что это ты.
You know nothing. All right?
Так. Это чья комната? Древнеримский кавалерийский шлем с маской и гребнем из окрашенных конских волос. А, Гораций. Так, это кража будет. Здесь ничего нет. Специи. Ну, допустим, ничего. Так, наверху. все-таки Руфий. Странно. А, ну да. Он же вроде как поклоняется единственному богу.
Don't believe a word they tell you.
Да наоборот, он более чем контролирует пока. Он даже свою дочь решил убить, чтобы день перезапустить. То есть ему на все абсолютно плевать, что будет происходить. Так. А за кого ты будешь? Ага. Я знаю, что это был ты. В твоих покоях мне попалось недописанное письмо, обращенное к нему.
Starts with constant pain in all your joints, and the pain starts to mess with your head. Makes you angry. I know that's not an excuse for how I acted, but it's the truth. But with the willow bark, I'm already starting to feel like myself again. I'll leave him alone from now on. It's not as if I was ever going to hurt him anyway. I was just lashing out. I'm going to go and clean up the graffiti. Just forget this ever happened. Will you?
Ладно, не вопрос. Юлия. А ты за кого голосовать будешь?
Sorry, I'm still. Was there something?
А ты голосовать, ну-ка.
No, but I.
Тебе тоже рассказать нельзя.
About my secret admirer?
Это был Руфий. В его доме мне попалось недописанное письмо.
You went snooping in his place? That was risky. We're lucky you didn't cross any lines. Have you spoken to him about it?
Да, и он больше тебя не побеспокоит.
Really? How did you manage that?
Мне удалось найти лекарство от его ревматизма, которое выводит из себя и усугубляет кое-какие его другие личные проблемы.
Poor fellow. I've heard that can really mess with a person's head. Well done for figuring that out.
К твоим услугам. Думаю, он и сам захочет стереть свои надписи.
Really? That's promising. I'll keep an eye out for him. Well, Cynthia seems to know what he's doing. Nobody's broken the
Я могу как-то повлиять на твой выбор?
My vote isn't for sale.
Ах ты, ё-моё. Все-таки не хочешь, да?
Nice to talk to you.
Значит... А никакой возможности нет его выпустить. Сенти ключ не отдаст. Просто так. Он и до этого-то не хотел его выпускать, а сейчас вообще...
Hello?
Его только галерей может выпустить, наверное. Так. Ага. Как раз таки Сенти не хочет его выпускать, потому что он в цистерны опять побежит к Сентилии. Так. Где бы золото достать? Шепоты еще есть. Опа, а вот это что-то интересное. Здесь золота нет. Там что? Ух ты.
You carry the gift of Prometheus in your hand. Remarkable. Welcome, welcome. May I ask your name?
Я dWayfer.
It's a sincere pleasure to meet you. Tell me, what brings you all the way down here?
Я ищу скрижаль, которую выкинули из обелиска.
Ah, yes, that cursed thing. I know exactly where it is. I will tell you everything I know, but first, a request. I have been living down here alone for many years, with nobody to talk to but myself. The one thing I long for above all else before I die is a good philosophical argument with somebody astute. I'm hoping that person is you. Let us find out with this simple question. Have you deduced the name of the god responsible for the golden rule?
Плутон, бог подземного мира.
Excellent. I see you are indeed quite astute. Very few come to that realization before their time in the sun is over. Now, will you join me in a friendly Socratic dialogue?
Почему бы и нет, мне не трудно.
Wonderful. Then let me begin with a question. Would you say you know the difference between right and wrong?
Точно не знаю, это непростой вопрос.
You are an overthinker too. We're the same then. It is probably why I became a philosopher. But if you struggle with right and wrong normally, then down here with the golden rule, surely your struggle can only have become more difficult.
Это правда.
Well, that's reassuring. And the truth is, you're not alone. You see, out there in the world, being uncertain about right and wrong was acceptable because our mistakes rarely had consequences. So we would tell lies and bend rules and turn a blind eye and rationalize, and yet still find a way to think of ourselves as good people. But under the golden rule, morality matters. The slightest wrongdoing could result in a mass execution. So to navigate this maze, we would have to be certain about the difference between right and wrong. Wouldn't you agree?
А кто решает, что хорошо, а что плохо?
That is an excellent question, and it leads directly to my next line of inquiry. So let me ask you this. Is there one system of morality which is always perfectly correct, which you could follow in every situation and always do the right thing?
Не думаю. Хотя Сенти же в любом случае поступает правильно.
Let me guess. Is it yours?
Если так поставить вопрос, может быть и нет.
And that's a credit to you. It is the mark of a civilized person to change their position when presented with a superior argument.
К чему ты клонишь?
My point is this. I don't think anyone alive truly knows any hard and fast rules about right and wrong.
А как же не убей?
Surely you would agree there are circumstances where an exception may be made, such as where it is necessary for self-defense or to prevent a greater evil. For any rule, you can imagine there are countless situations in which that rule may be suspended, and those situations are impossible to codify. If there is one thing I have observed about rules, it is that virtuous people do not need them, and evil people will always find a way around them. And so we must accept our limitations, and the sad truth that no human society will ever achieve the utopia for which it strives. In mathematics, we would call it an asymptote, a line that can be approached but never reached. Because the only way to create a utopia is with the ever-present threat of force, such as the Golden Rule. This and no other is the root from which a tyrant springs when he first appears as a protector. And life under tyranny is no utopia at all.
Соглашусь.
I'm glad to hear that. In any case, thank you for humoring an old man. I would be happy to answer your questions.
Расскажи о себе для начала. Кто ты такой вообще?
You mean, how did I end up living alone in this cave with nothing but these relics of the past for company? It's a long story.
Я слушаю.
I was a quarrelsome young man. At 19, I left Corinth for Rome to study rhetoric at one of her finest academies, so I could argue more forcefully. Back then, I used to enjoy verbally sparring with everyone I could, and I was good. One night I found myself in a tavern in an argument with a drunk mercenary. It became heated, he drew a gladius, and I won the argument, but lost my life. I woke up on the banks of the Styx at a campfire opposite Karen. Of course, I tried to persuade her to let me return, but even with all my skill, I failed. I settled in, made friends, and learned what I could, quickly realizing our little community faced certain death under the Golden Rule. So I began looking for a place to hide underground. Fortunately, I found this place waiting for me. You see, I was not the first to take refuge here. I returned to my friends above, persuaded them to join me, and 12 of us descended for the last time to live out our days hidden from Hades' tyranny.
Аид, ты имеешь в виду Плутона?
They are one and the same. The Romans call him Pluto, but long before that, my people called him Hades.
А почему ты не можешь вернуться на поверхность?
My generation was wiped out, turned to gold, many years ago. My friends and I were able to avoid the same fate by hiding down here. I think it's safest to assume that if I was to return, Hades would realize that his furies hadn't finished the job, and he'd send them after me again.
Почему ты не хочешь говорить свое имя?
I fear that if you were to utter my name in the city, even by mistake, that Hades would hear you and know I am still alive.
А где все остальные?
I'm afraid I am the only one left. There were 12 of us in the beginning, but one by one, my friends passed away. Some from malnutrition, others from madness and despair. It has been lonely. Before my unexpected visit from Kabash some weeks ago, I'd not seen another person in many, many years.
А как ты здесь выжил?
Living in darkness is not without its challenges. The first challenge is diet. Fortunately, I found that eating fresh fish provides most of the nutrients I need. And sometimes, when there are Greek people living up above, I surface at night and salvage the offerings they've left in the temple of Demeter. The greater challenge is the isolation, so I like to imagine arguments, where I argue both sides. But, like so many things in life, arguments are better with a partner. As you wish.
Ты не знаешь, как отсюда выбраться?
If I did, would I be living like this?
А что думаешь о золотом правиле?
Did we not discuss it at length already? Oh, I see. You're toying with me.
Не знаешь, где мне найти скрижаль, которую вынули из обелиска?
You seek the plaque bearing the Egyptian inscription.
Да, она.
It is a cursed object, and I would be happy to give it to you, if Kabash had not already taken it.
Хорошо, тогда скажи, где Хабаш?
I will tell you, but you may find him hostile. To prepare for your encounter, there are certain things you must know. Very few know this, but before the Romans came to this city, it was once entirely Greek. The architecture, the temples, and the people. When the Romans came, in typical fashion, they claimed it as their own, built over everything that could be built over, and renamed the things that could not. Thus, the shrine of Persephone became the shrine of Proserpine. And when they found an obelisk bearing the name Hades, they tore it off and replaced it with Pluto instead. And the city's dwindling Greek residents, witnessing this compulsive Roman conquest, decided to preserve what they could of their heritage. They gathered their art and valuables, secreted them away through the temple of Demeter, and hid them here, out of reach of the Romans.
Пока все понятно.
However, there was one thing that always seemed out of place to me, and it is the very thing you seek. An even older plaque bearing an Egyptian inscription.
Что на ней написано?
We had no idea until years later, when the first of my friends began to die.
As a result of their deaths, we began to dig catacombs branching off from this cavern to lay them to rest. We extended the tunnel so far that we accidentally discovered another, an even older tunnel, which somebody had gone to great lengths to keep hidden. Suddenly it made sense why there was an out-of-place Egyptian plaque among our people's possessions. You see, we proud Greeks had thought the Romans beasts for stealing and corrupting our heritage. But it turns out this game has been going on much longer than any of us imagined. I think it is best you head through the catacombs and follow Kabash's trail.
А что там?
There are certain things you must see for yourself. Take this key. You'll need it to open the gate.
Спасибо. Я пойду.
I enjoyed our chat, but please keep my presence here a secret. Yes.
Хорошо. Очень интересно. Так, у тебя монеток не будет? Никаких? Греческая скрижаль. Ладно. Раньше, видимо, можно было. Но я не видел этого прохода. Так. Интересная вещь, кстати, как в подземном мире мертвых можно умереть от голода или еще от чего-то естественного. Так, что здесь? Канализация. Стрелы. Все интересней и интересней. Это кто? Это получается египетские уже руины. А текст все один и тот же. В здание заходить почему-то нельзя. Ладно, пойдем дальше. Ну, это уже философские споры начнутся, если человек умер и душа как бы перестала существовать в мире живых, то она умереть уже не может, по идее, если так размышлять. Ага, вот и...
Stop. Do not come any closer. Who are you?
Я dWayfer, а ты?
I am Kabash. And let me guess. Another Greek or Roman come to loot and plunder the resting place of my ancestors.
Я просто ищу египетскую скрижаль.
To what end?
Хочу вернуть ее в обелиск.
That is welcome news. You really are not Greek or Roman, are you? I was planning to return it myself, but for now, I must remain. Here, take it and restore the honor of Osiris.
Спасибо.
Now, as for the other plaque.
Четвертая скрижаль. Ты про нее знаешь?
Indeed, I have it right here. I stumbled across a collection of dusty curiosities while searching for a place to hide from the hungry children of Amit, and there it was.
Можешь ее отдать?
You may not. In fact, I am about to destroy it.
Зачем?
Because it speaks a treacherous, blasphemous lie.
Какая?
I will tell you, but first, do you know what this place is?
Дуат?
Indeed, and I see you know our history. This is the Duat. See what has become of it. I have been down here for weeks, piecing together its story, and here is what I have learned. As Egypt declined and the Greeks had their turn to flourish, their souls came here in great numbers. But instead of adopting our ways, they copied and corrupted them. When they found the obelisk bearing the name Osiris, the true god of the underworld, they desecrated it, removing his name and replacing it with Hades. Even the ferryman of the dead, known to my people long before as Kerti, they renamed to Keron. As if that desecration was not enough, they built over this place, using it as the foundation for their own underworld. so that ours was forgotten. My only solace is that the Greeks then suffered the same fate when the Romans rose to power, renaming Hades to Pluto, and the cycle began anew.
Так что не так с этой скрижалью?
It is inscribed with a script I do not recognize, but it is ancient, almost as if it is older than the plaque bearing Osiris's name. But if that is so, it would imply the gods of Egypt are mere imitations too, copied and corrupted from an ancient people who prospered even before us, and that my people did to them what the Greeks and Romans did to us. But this I cannot accept. I sense a deception. Perhaps it is the work of Set, the usurper, seeking to undermine Osiris once more.
Так что там написано?
You will never know. This work of sacrilege must be destroyed, thrown into the black abyss below in Osiris's name.
Прошу, не надо.
You are too late. It is done.
Зря ты это сделал.
It could not have gone any other way. It was Osiris's will. Now, the thing of evil you sought is gone. Why are you still here?
Как думаешь, что внизу?
I do not know. What could possibly lie beneath the underworld? Perhaps it is infinite darkness. Perhaps it is the lair of Amit, the devourer of souls. All I know is, it would be unwise to venture down there.
Тогда мне еще больше хочется туда спуститься.
Is everyone so contrary where you are from? Do not even consider it.
Что думаешь о золотом правиле?
I think if someone is to break the golden rule, it will not be me. For I try to live as I always have by the command of the goddess Ma'at. Do to the doer to make him do. As for the punishment that will come from it, I finally understand why it has long been said among my people that gold is the skin of the gods.
Ты не знаешь, как отсюда выбраться?
This is where I belong, as caretaker of the memories of my people. If our ways are to be remembered, it falls to me.
Расскажи о себе.
I am from Rakotis, which you may know as Alexandria, the name of the city the Greeks built over it. I was a fisherman, like my father before me. Since the Romans had taken over from the Greeks, I took the opportunity to learn Latin and eventually traveled to Rome. When the fires broke out last year, I tried to help. I gathered terrified locals into my boat and led many of them to safety farther along the Tiber. On my 7th trip, a passenger demanded I wait for his brother. But we were full to almost sinking, and smoke was all around us. I told him his brother would have to save himself, and he tried to bribe me by placing a coin into my hand. When I refused, he drew a dagger and thrust it between my ribs. I awoke on the banks of the river to a stranger wearing a ram headdress. He said his name was Kirti, and at the time, I simply thought him odd. It did not dawn on me until much later that he was the Kirti, the ram-headed ferryman described in the Book of the Dead.
Ладно, я пойду.
Good. Be gone from this place. Wait. You are planning to go down there. I see it in your eyes.
Точно.
You would plunge into the depths of the Duat with no way back up. Madness. We shall see.
Ну что ж. Это шумерская скрижаль. Значит, здесь и шумеры жили. Так. Осталось греческое. Может, тут немножко золота найдется. Ай-яй-яй-яй. А вот и выход, наверное. Сюда нельзя. Я, честно говоря, тоже не очень силен в мифологии греческой и римской. И как? Затопит? Нет, не затопит.
When I told you that you would not find a way back up, that was not a prediction. That was a promise. You will die here.
Нет нужды доводить до насилия.
I disagree. I warned you against coming down here, against perpetuating this sacrilege, but you persisted. You have undermined and dishonored the true god of the underworld. How did you think this would end, if not with bloodshed?
Выслушай меня.
Very well, I will listen. But if I sense deception, or if you further insult my gods, I will carry out my threat. So tell me, why should I let you live after you salvaged this instrument of blasphemy?
Я просто пытаюсь вернуть на место скрижали, вытащенные из оскверненного обелиска.
Why? To what end?
Надеюсь, что смогу добиться аудиенции у бога подземного мира.
But why? What business could you have with Osiris?
Я потребую, чтобы он всех отпустил.
Blasphemous fool! You have sealed your own fate.
Погоди, если нападешь на меня, нарушишь золотое правило.
Good. I welcome it. You see, the philosopher told me that each time it breaks, Osiris bellows with rage, and his voice shakes the very foundations of the earth. I can only hope one more tremor will lay waste to this fragile place once and for all, and you along with it.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
А вот это печально. Ладно, придется ему врать, получается.
When I told you that you will, you have very wise. Why? But why? Doubtful. What do you know about honoring the Lord of Silence? You speak the truth. Indeed, it seems we have all been deceived. Many of my ancestors endured great hardship to live good lives so that we may descend to the Duat in death and be judged accordingly. We prepared to have our hearts weighed on Anubis' scales and to swear ourselves innocent of sin before the 42 assessors of Ma'at. And yet, I arrive here to find the Book of the Dead contained only a seed of truth. And now, I ask myself, did our priests steal and embellish the stories of an older people and feed us lies all our lives simply to trick us into obedience?
Разве честная жизнь не цена сама по себе?
I am not sure I follow. Speak plainly.
Твои верования про загробную жизнь оказались неверны. Но разве важно не само то, что благодаря им ты жил честно?
Perhaps there is some truth in that. What is your point?
Неужели ты отречешься от своей доброты в самый важный момент просто из-за того, что тебя обманули?
You are persuasive. Very well. I will let you live, and you may do what you will with that plaque. I will remain here for a while and attempt to learn what I can about the foundations of my people's beliefs. Go.
Спасибо. Так. Ай-яй-яй-яй. Не туда побежал. Хотя бы его уговорил. Так, сюда не наступать. Я-то думал, он сверху покатится. Ой-ой-ой. А вот сейчас все затопит, похоже. А, нет. Затопило только город. Так, это греческие... Ой, египетские руины. Уже. Стоп, сюда не надо. Золота здесь, к сожалению, нет.
Ah, you've returned. Good to see you again. I enjoyed.
Осталась греческая скрижаль. А она только у Дули может быть. Ну, в любом случае все сводится к победе галерии на выборах. А для этого нужно 2000 золотых где-то раздобыть. То есть осталось 50 монет. По-моему, в пещерах было несколько десятков. Надо бы сбегать туда. Так. Еще не вечер. Отлично. Значит, в пещеры.
Greetings and salutations.
У тебя монет не найдется? Опа. Так, ну что ж.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Ну, вроде как, да. Этого торговца, который в прошлый раз запер меня в храме. Он вроде бы за 2000 золотых согласен поменять мнение. Итак, побегай еще разок, друг.
Salve, friend. Oh.
Ага, вот и Вергилия можно уже на свою сторону привлечь.
Yulia? Oh no.
Так. Дальше Фабия.
All right, let me see. Stop Fabia.
Малеол.
What?
И Руфий.
Poor Virgil. Poor Rufius too, I guess. All right, got it.
Всё.
I'll go, but once I'm done.
Но сейчас все должно быть хорошо. Потому что и Вергилий теперь за него будет.
Ixion turns.
Fabia, listen.
There's a troublemaker coming into the city.
Так, а я пока поговорю с Дули по поводу скрижали.
Hello? Hello?
Насчет греческой скрижали в твоей клетке.
Do you like it? It's shiny, innit? It makes me happy just looking at it.
А можно мне ее забрать?
But if I gave it to you, then I wouldn't have it anymore, and I'd be sad.
Хорошо, что мне для тебя сделать, чтобы ты мог отдать ее?
Well, if you get me out of here, then I wouldn't need it anymore because I'd already be happy. Then you could have it, and you'd be happy too.
Сенти ни за что не отпустит тебя, но, возможно, если у нас будет новый магистрат...
Like Galerius? He's nice. I like Galerius. He made me a doll and everything.
Значит, все, что мне нужно сделать, это убедить всех проголосовать за Галерия.
Yeah, Galerius will let me out. Then you can have my plaque, and everyone will be happy.
Ну да.
Bye-bye.
Так. Где этот торговец?
Hello there, friend. Malleolus. Not gonna.
А, ну да.
Very well.
Надо подождать.
Thank you, Galerius. You're a good man, and I'll be sure to leave Virgil alone. I know I haven't been at my best lately.
Appreciate that. Now, I've got to run.
Нужно просто ждать. Кстати, я сейчас подумал по поводу предложения свести Сентия с ума. Если, наверное, несколько раз заставлять его убивать свою дочь, может, это как-то повлияет. Но сначала попробуем мирный вариант решения событий.
Are you out of your mind, farm boy? What? You're not going to listen to this dolt, are you?
Galerius, all right, I'll withdraw, and Ulpius and Julia are free. I trust our business is concluded?
Yes, that ought to do it. I guess I'll go and tell Ulpius the good news then.
Ну-ка, ради интереса. У него изменится диалог или нет в этот раз? Если Сенти рассказать все.
Oh, Another one fresh out of the baths, I take it. Oh, I wish Horatius would... Oh. What? No. Father!
I'm afraid it is. Because she found a way out. And if you're wondering why I'm telling you, all I have to do is commit a sin, and the day will begin again. Watch this. I'm going to kill you now.
The many shall
Нет.
suffer.
Похоже, не меняется. Ладно. Посмотрим, к чему вся эта история со скрижалями приведет. Так. С этим он поговорил. Значит, надо здесь ждать, пока он всех оббежит. Получается, весь сюжет и сводится к тому, чтобы Галерий стал магистратом для хорошей концовки. Если чего-то внезапного, конечно, не случится. А вот Галерий... А нет, Ульпи бежит.
Yulia! I'm so glad you didn't go through with it.
It wasn't for lack of trying. And now Malleolus is going to... Wait. Why do you look so happy?
We're free. Malleolus just released us and we never have to set foot in that villa.
И сюда. Нет. Если золотой стрелой в него выстрелить, это все равно будет считаться грехом. Наверное. Хотя, если верить философу, что праведный человек в целях самозащиты, если что-то совершит, это не будет считаться злым поступком, то, возможно, и ты права. Можно будет посмотреть, если он пойдет. Если он придет на выборы, точнее. Да уж, сложная игра, конечно, в сюжетном плане. Нет, занять его ничем нельзя. Собственно, я думаю, что когда его от выборов отговорили, я думаю, что он никуда не пойдет, а он все равно, по крайней мере, если Сенти победить захотел поучаствовать. Как с Галерием будет, пока непонятно.
from today's election. Unless any new challengers are nominated by nightfall, Sentius will be re-elected magistrate by default.
Actually, I'd like to nominate myself, if that's all right.
Of course, Galerius, that's your right. Citizens, the election will proceed.
Так, отлично.
Salve again, friend. How is it? You're a bit Sisyphus. Sisyphus, he was forcing Tantal. Oh. Anyway, so and I'm in the running for magistrate. Feeling kind of nervous, but I'm hoping it'll all be worth it when I order Dooley's.
А с его женой нет такого варианта взаимодействия уже. Я ей один раз вино дал, она дала письмо любовное, в котором он по ошибке подписался как Квинций. И все, на этом варианта такого нет. Точнее, после этого.
Oh, that's kind of you to say. Now, I'm going to keep your secret. Although, it's not as if I'll remember this next time we talk anyway, right? Oh, and if our conversations ever start to annoy you, just tell me you're busy.
Ну, посмотрим, чем выборы закончатся. А после этого заберем скрижаль как-нибудь.
Hello there. Sent? Yeah? Certainly. For a few. Nothing illegal about it.
Несколько тысяч это сколько? Ладно. Все равно за галереей уже вроде как больше людей хочет проголосовать. Попробуем еще раз.
Very well. Citizens, it is time. Let us meet to elect our magistrate.
Time to go to the theater.
The election's on!
Так. Ну что ж. Это да, но Дули выпустят только если Галерий станет магистратом. А сколько всего людей голосовать будет? 5. 6. Шесть человек.
Sentius, of course.
Georgius.
Galerius. He saved the life of my dear friend Fabia.
Dacius.
Sentius.
Virgil.
The man who put a stop to the threats I've been receiving. Galerius.
Ulpius.
Galerius, the man who saved my life.
Rufius.
The man who treated my rheumatism. Galerius.
Citizens, you have made your decision. Your new magistrate is Gallus Galerius Helver.
What?
It has been decided. Magistrate Galerius, would you like to make a brief address?
I just want to say, this isn't something I ever wanted. Now that you put your trust in me, I'm going to do everything I can not to let you down. I'll need some time to put together a list of the changes I want to make around here. But I promise you, there will be changes. My first order is that Dooley is to be freed. Horatius, release him from his cell immediately. Please. Wait, do I need to say please? I suppose not. That's it. You can all get on with your day. Nothing else to see here. Move along.
Угу. Отлично. Интересно, что Сенти на это скажет.
It's almost as if you're trying to extend my lifespan.
Не понял смысла, но ладно. Так. Значит...
Fortune smiles on you today, Julius. Magistrate Galerius here has ordered your release.
You're going to let me out of here?
I'm sorry it took so long, my friend. And it wouldn't have happened at all if it wasn't for a newcomer. So be sure to offer your thanks when you can.
I will. I will. Thank you, Galerius. I'm so happy.
I'd love to stay and chat, but I've got a lot of work ahead of me. Why don't you go to the baths? Then tell Georgius I said you could have some new clothes. Then I want you to go home and rest. I'll speak with you soon, Dooley.
Hello? I'm Dooley. Magistrate Galerius said I should thank the newcomer. Are you the newcomer?
Да, это я.
Oh, it is you. Then, thank you. You're a big helper. I was locked up, but they let me out again. I'm so happy.
Можешь не благодарить.
You can have my shiny plaque if you want, and maybe you can help me find my treasure. My friend Hannibal used to look after me, and he said he always would. But then he died. But before that, he told me if anything ever happened to him, I had to find something very precious.
И что же это?
He gave me a key to the cisterns and told me to keep it safe. He said there's something very precious way up high. Please help me find it. Please. I had to keep it a secret until I found someone I could trust.
Я понял.
Oh, thank you. Here's the key. Hope you find it. In the cisterns, way up high, Hannibal said. Oh, look over there. Something shining. Is it treasure? Maybe it is treasure. I could see it for myself. So
Я надеюсь, ты...
and it's just lying out here in the open. Maybe nobody wants it anymore. Maybe no one will mind if I just take it.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Отлично. Все-таки освобождать его нельзя. И галерия делать магистратом тоже нельзя. Получается. Даже в этом Сентий обыграл. А скрижаль я успел забрать. Значит, теперь верхнюю цистерну открыть и посмотреть, что там. Ну, там наверняка сентилия. Ладно, сейчас глянем. Так.
Salve, friend. Oh. You All right, let me. What? Poor bird. I'll go.
Так, отлично. А где верхняя цистерна? Вот это? Нет. Угу. Вот где золото можно набирать. Так, значит. Так, это дворец. Я, честно говоря, тоже такого не ожидал от игры. Тем более, когда уже первый раз все прошел, не ждешь чего-то более интересного. А тут такое.
What? My condition is nobody's business but mine.
Так. Цистерна, это же вот это, насколько я помню.
You're not thinking about going into the cistern, are you? Well, it's your funeral.
Так. Да. Если можно будет открыть дверь в верхнюю цистерну, после этого, возможно, как-то сентия можно будет оббежать. Чтобы он не мешался. Ага. Вот. Стоп, нет. Это не то. Как же я туда пробрался? Ну да. Отлично. Так, это синтила. Подожди немножко. Так. Отлично. Дальше что? Какие это возможности дает? Интересно. Ладно. Попробую с ней поговорить. А вот эта дверь все еще закрыта. Я думаю, можно списать это на возможности подземного мира.
It's no use. You'll never persuade him of any. You're making a mistake. You're back. There's no time. Wait. What? It's no. You're making.
Вверху пойдет, да? Значит, можно попробовать всех убедить. Или нет? Ладно, в любом случае, сейчас со скрижалями надо разобраться. А над этим пока подумаю. Может, он очень ловкий человек сам по себе был. Ага. Собственно, есть один вариант, наверное. Можно попробовать забежать за Сентилией, когда выборы будут идти. В этом случае Сентия не сможет зайти туда, поскольку будет занят выборными делами. Речь толкать или что-нибудь еще. По крайней мере, надеюсь на это. Так. Изначально кто был? Не плутаем. Попробуем Нергала. А, все-таки Плутон. Ага, это Аид. Теперь Осирис. Судя по архитектуре. И шумерский Нергал. Так, это... Вот такого я точно не ожидал. Это что за футуристичные фантазии?
And here you are. Allow me to introduce myself. As you have already gathered, I've been known by many names. Nergal to the Sumerians, Osiris to the Egyptians, Hades to the Greeks, and Pluto to the Romans. But the one constant through it all has been my title, God of the Underworld. And I've been watching you with curiosity, mortal, ever since your arrival. You are unlike the others, aren't you? And what is more, you carry a weapon that was never intended for mortals to wield, and you do it so gracefully that there will be time for your reckoning later. First, as a reward for undoing the desecration of my obelisk, I will allow you to satisfy your curiosity. Ask what you will.
Расскажи о себе. Ты инопланетянин, получается?
My story is many thousands of years long. You will need to be more specific. What do you wish to know? It is a matter of perspective. God is a label I was given by humans, not one I gave myself. Your ancestors revered me because to them, my knowledge and technology made me incomprehensibly powerful, just as you might seem so to an insect. But despite all that, there are rules even I must obey.
Ну да, инопланетянин.
My kin and I all adopted this form long ago, so that we might better understand and communicate with your kind. In time, we grew fond of the sensory delights it affords: desire, joy, ecstasy, even rage and sorrow, while an acquired taste can be addictive.
Кто эта женщина слева от тебя?
This is my beloved. Like me, she has been known by many names. Ereshkigal to the Sumerians, Isis to the Egyptians, Persephone to the Greeks, and Proserpina to the Romans. Or perhaps you might know her as the goddess of springtime, the cycle of life and renewal. Your gaze lingers too long.
А, так это она шепчет, а почему нельзя ему об этом говорить? А кто справа?
That is my servant. You would have met by the river, though she wears many faces and goes by many names. Kumutabal to the Sumerians, Kurti to the Egyptians, Charon to the Greeks, and Charon to the Romans. Her role is to ferry souls between the mortal world and this one, and to make their transition as seamless as possible. For that, she earned herself the infamous, if erroneous, moniker, the Ferryman. You will talk more later. For now, ask your questions.
А можно увидеть тебя в истинной форме?
No. Long ago I swore to Persephone that I would remain in this form for as long as we remained among your kind. I must honor that. As you wish.
Что это за место?
It has come to be known simply as the Underworld, and it exists because of a wager I made long ago.
Что это был за спор?
That is a long story, one that began over 3,000 years ago and continues to this day. You see, long ago my kin and I set out from our home on Elysium to search for other forms of life among the stars. We discovered your planet and witnessed your kind evolving from primates into something lawless and barbaric. You all but destroyed yourselves, your 2 short lives being extinguished by violence and ignorance and disease. Yet Persephone saw raw potential and persuaded the rest of us it would be squandered without our intervention and stewardship. So we revealed ourselves to your people in a place called Sumer. We offered guidance in agriculture, toolcraft, and law, and you called us gods. For a time you flourished, but soon you were too many for us to oversee. And as you spread from that cradle of civilization, we saw something disturbing. We had sown the seeds of dependency and confusion. And soon you returned to your old ways of violence and ignorance, this time in our name. My kin had seen enough and gave up on your kind, condemning you as barbaric and chaotic, scarcely more than animals. We began preparations to return to Elysium, our home world, a utopia unspoilt by conflict and unimaginable in its beauty. But my Persephone could not bear to abandon your kind without guidance, and knowing it would force the rest of us to leave her behind, she made an extraordinary sacrifice. She gave up her immortality to descend permanently to the ranks of humankind. And so she began her inescapable trajectory toward death. Horrified, I acted swiftly. I placed her in suspended animation in a deep frozen sleep to prevent age and sickness from claiming her. And then I pleaded with Persephone's father, who the Romans called Jupiter, to bring her with us to Elysium. It was and is my hope that once there, we might one day learn to undo what she has done to herself. But he refused. I did everything I could to persuade him that he would not relent. He would rigidly uphold his final pronouncement. Humans were unworthy of ascension to Elysium, and no exceptions would be made. But seeing that I was aggrieved, he proposed a wager, the terms of which were as follows. If even one human city could prove itself capable of living without sin for a single year, then Proserpina and all of humanity would be permitted to join us in Elysium. My part would be to remain behind, the last of my kind, to watch over you without interfering, and to sit in silent judgment. And so my reward has been to languish here, enduring a 3,000-year winter, waiting for the day your kind proves itself worthy of her faith in you, so that I might take her with me to Elysium and unthaw my goddess of springtime. And here I am, after all this time, still waiting.
Кто еще был среди вас?
There were also gods who, like me, have been known by many names, but perhaps you knew them by their Roman names. Our leader Jupiter, as well as Neptune, Saturn, Juno, Minerva, Mars, Venus, Apollo, Diana, Vulcan, Vesta, Ceres, and of course, my beloved Persephone.
Кто построил этот город?
As the first wave of your kind arrived from Sumer, I had them build a city in their own fashion, so that they might be comfortable and recreate their lives here. I had them build the entrance as a vertical shaft leading to baths, to cleanse them of the sins of their former lives, and to prevent escape. I watched wave after wave of Sumerians arrive, and as their civilization declined over the centuries, they were replaced by Egyptians. Of course, believing themselves to be the superior civilization, the Egyptians promptly built over what had been built before, and made all the same mistakes. After another 1,000 years, the Greeks began to arrive, and then the Romans, and they all did the same thing. They built upon the underworlds of their predecessors, renamed their gods, and ensured their foundations were forgotten.
А как ты решал, кто окажется здесь?
To ensure the wage was fair, it was important that my subjects were chosen at random. To this end, I had my servant distribute 1,000 tokens fashioned from silver, a rare element at the time, across all of Sumer. Whoever died while in possession of one of them would be located by my servant and ferried to this place, with no memory of how they arrived. As the tokens were discovered, they were traded, smelted, and fashioned into trinkets, and eventually coins, spreading to Egypt like seeds on the wind. Later, when they spread to Greece, they would come to be known as Charon's obol, or as coins for the ferrymen. Some placed coins in the mouths of their dead, hoping they would awaken here, though they had no way of knowing which coins were fashioned from the original tokens. In fact, almost all of the tokens are accounted for, only 2 remain. And so after this wave destroys itself, as it is destined to do, your kind will have squandered the last of its potential to ascend beyond this rock, and Persephone is along with it.
А как люди узнали о подземном мире?
It is a regrettable story. One of the first men who came to this place was a king of Sumer and a troublemaker. To be rid of him, I returned him to his people, on the condition that my servant erased his memories of this place. But the erasure did not take completely, and he told stories of this place as if describing memories of a dream. His tales were committed to writing, which came to be known as the Epic Gilgamesh. These words were twisted and distorted over generations. Later, the Egyptians would adapt Sumer's stories of the underworld, making them wildly intricate and labyrinthine. Their Book of the Dead and Book of Gates bore less and less resemblance to this place in their priests' pursuit of profit. Then, when the Greeks began to arrive, they proved far more cunning, and in a series of incidents that will not be repeated, 5 of them escaped. A warrior named Heracles, 2 kings named Sisyphus and Theseus, a poet named Orpheus, and a Trojan named Aeneas. They each told embellished tales of this place, how to get here, and how to escape. And so from Sumer to Egypt, Greece to Rome, your kind has always told each other stories about this place, though each story contained only a seed of truth. Of course.
Так это ты ввел золотое правило?
That is merely the name your people have given to it, but yes, it is my doing.
Зачем превращать людей в золото?
That is a story dating back to the very first wave, After the Sumerians finished building their city, the self-declared ruler threw a banquet to celebrate. Now this man was unmarried, and many women were vying to become his wife, a prestigious position of power and influence in a new world. Of all the women, 2 were particularly ambitious. Both were beautiful, and both arrived at the banquet wearing eye-catching dresses and painted faces, their hair woven in elaborate fashion. The first woman, recognizing that she would require an advantage to win the ruler's affection, draped herself in jewelry, ornate necklaces, bracelets, and rings fashioned from gold. Seeing this ostentatious display, the second woman grew envious, for she had no such jewelry at her disposal. She prayed aloud to any gods that would listen to cover her in gold, and when her prayer went unanswered, she took matters into her own hands. While the others indulged at the banquet, the second woman summoned the first for a discussion in a quiet place. She checked that nobody was watching, and pushed her rival from the top of the ziggurat, where she broke her neck on the rocks below. But I was watching, and I decided to answer her prayer. I took the golden bow left behind by Diana, and I shot that woman in the heart, covering her from head to toe in a layer of molten gold. And I left her to stand there, that she might serve as a grim reminder of what befalls those who sin in my domain. But that was not enough, for the entire city was tainted by her sin, and the wager could no longer be won. So I had no choice but to wipe the slate clean. I gilded them all, to make way for a new wave, and began the wager again. And to this day, each of them, and all who came after, line the halls of this city, inanimate but conscious, suspended in time with only their sight and hearing preserved, so they may bear witness to and lament the folly of your kind for eternity, the silent golden sentinels.
Значит, все эти люди погибли от тебя, из-за тебя?
I give your kind a second chance at life, as well as ample warning about my law. And when you disobey, and you always disobey, you force my hand, bringing terrible suffering upon yourselves. And so you ask if I am the one destroying your lives. And I say, no, you destroy yourselves. I am merely the means by which you do it.
Откуда взялись все эти золотые луки?
When my kin departed, they left behind many relics which I inherited. A consolation prize of sorts. The golden bow originally belonged to one of my kin, who the Romans called Diana. As my collection of golden statues grew, I chose the most ferocious among them, and equipped them each with a duplicate of her bow, and tasked them with hunting down the Forsaken at my behest. They became known simply as Furies.
А что для тебя грех?
I've always considered that the cornerstone of morality is the ability to determine right from wrong on one's own. No attempt to lay out rules like your Code of Hammurabi or your 12 Tables of the Roman Republic can ever cover all possible scenarios. This should come as no surprise to you, since the core principle has been expressed in many forms by many of your civilizations. The Egyptians made a rudimentary attempt with do to the doer to make him do. The Greeks refined it with avoid doing what you would blame others for doing. The Roman Stoics added treat your inferior as you would wish your superior to treat you. Even the so-called cultists hiding among you often say, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It is the simplest of concepts, and each one of you is born with the faculties required to apply it to any situation. Yet none of the peoples who expressed this rule were able to uphold it. Curious, is it not?
Да, и ты, кажется, свое правило тоже не соблюдаешь.
Enough. You clearly
Как ты понимаешь, что кто-то согрешил?
I'm able to commune with all of the statues in the city. Their ears are my ears, and their eyes are my eyes.
А Прозерпина тоже общается со статуями?
If she was still conscious, I suppose she could, but she's not. Why do you ask?
Просто так.
Then what an odd question.
Мне довелось увидеть здесь ужасные вещи, которые ты грехом не считаешь. Как ты позволил всему этому случиться?
Do you plan to speak in sweeping generalizations, or are you going to give me an example?
Самоубийство.
I've seen no such thing, but in any case, taking one's own life is a self-directed act. It is not one that is done to others, however they may be affected by it. Therefore, it cannot be said that one who commits suicide has done anything unto others.
Ну, наверное, справедливо.
Now tell me, what other sins do you believe I have overlooked?
Так, взвинченные цены на необходимые для жизни лекарства.
The merchant. How is that inconsistent with the rule I've outlined?
Он бы не хотел, чтобы кто-то требовал непомерную цену за нужное лекарство, если бы умирал сам.
I disagree. Having watched this merchant, that is precisely what he would expect from others, and he would be quite capable of paying the price anyway.
Ты не знаешь, чего бы он ожидал, просто предполагаешь.
Applying this rule always requires speculation to some degree. It requires us to ask what another person would want if they found themselves in another situation.
Разве все это не делает правило по сути своей субъективным и ненадежным?
Not if we're wise enough to know the mind of man.
А тебе, по-твоему, известно, о чем думают люди?
Supposing you're right, then my law has been broken, and I should turn you all to gold immediately. Is that what you want?
Правда на моей стороне, и ты это знаешь.
Then your desire to be right outweighs your desire to survive. You will make a fine statue. Do you really think you can wound me, a god, with that primitive weapon?
Может, ты бессмертный, но Прозерпина нет.
How dare you threaten her? This ends now.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Взял? Ага. Ну да, я же... По моему мнению, это просто представитель более развитой цивилизации. Вот и все. Тем более, очевидно, он находится на какой-то орбитальной станции. Судя по тому, что вид на Землю открывается. Ну, грубо говоря, это эксперименты инопланетян проводятся. Далековато. Ладно, еще раз.
That is, I've all this should be the Greek, the Roman, even it is yet enough. Do you plan to?
А если похищение?
Abduction. You mean the magistrate imprisoning his daughter? He did so because she sought to escape. A sin I take particularly seriously. Better that he stops her from escaping, albeit brutishly, than I have to wipe out this entire...
Не соглашусь.
Supposing you're right, and my law has been broken, and then your desire, you will make a... Do you really think you can... How dare you...
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Так, отлично. Не успел. Это не лук из его мира, это копии. Наверное, более слабые или... Ну, более слабые копии, я так полагаю. Не оригинал. Так. 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 А где корона-то? Отлично. Теперь бежим. Надеюсь, получится сбежать. Так, сейчас загрузка началась. Главное, корону успел схватить. А что с ней делать? Вот это вопрос. Так, отлично. Отлично. Ага. А этот бог подземного мира, получается, не сохраняет память? Или сохраняет? Еще один интересный вопрос. Если он останавливается на римлянах, значит, он про все будущие цивилизации не знает, получается? Скоро кто-то нарушит золотое правило. Мне нужно, чтобы ты предупредил всех, кроме Сентия, чтобы они бежали к верхней цистерне, когда начнется землетрясение. Ну-ка. Кого он сможет предупредить?
You, Sisyphus, attack or pursue the stone that always...
И как он это хочет сделать? Сюда кто-то подойдет? Ладно. Пока надо в храм отправиться. Еще раз с божеством поговорить. С инопланетянином, точнее. Так. Сейчас и посмотрим, знает он или нет. Да, определенно это какая-то космическая станция. Вон там, видимо, корабль.
And here you are. Allow me to introduce myself. As you know, girl, but the one constant through, and I've been watching you with. And what is more, you carry that there will be first as a reward.
Ага, он ничего не помнит. Видишь, это венец Прозерпины.
I would recognize that anywhere, and yet my beloved still wears hers. What is this? How did you come by it?
Из другой временной линии, где она умерла от моей руки.
You vile, despicable creature. Why would you do such a thing? And worse still, boast about it.
Мне было жаль ее убивать, но если ты не отменишь золотое правило, то я сделаю это снова.
position. If I refuse, you will murder her. And yet, if I agree, I will lose my wager and return to Elysium humiliated and alone.
Именно так.
Perhaps you are cleverer than you appear, mortal. I do not see that I have a choice in this. Your treachery and savagery have opened my eyes like nothing I have witnessed in 3,000 years. And now you have shown me your species' true colors. And I see that Persephone was a fool to have ever believed in you at all. This has gone on too long. It is time for me to let go of this form, of her, of all of you. But know this, if I abandon the wager and leave for Elysium, neither she nor your kind may ever ascend.
Мы хотим лишь вернуться в свой мир.
Very well. I will have Charon make arrangements to ferry the others. But as for you, be aware you will be separated from the rest.
Почему?
Once this exodus begins, the events that brought you to this moment will never have taken place, and you will have created a paradox. What will become of you is difficult to predict, but that is the risk you have taken by interfering in the natural flow of time. Now, are you ready?
Начнем.
You would best pray our paths never cross again, mortal.
Так, и к чему это приведет? Ага, все задания выполнены.
Oh. Hi there. Gave me a bit of a fright. Thought I was in here alone. I'm Al.
Элворд, я как раз тебя и ищу.
Well, here I am. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Я шантажировал его раз за разом убивать Прозерпину, если он не согласится всех отпустить. Он, собственно, и согласился, но... Он согласился, но сказал, что это создаст временной парадокс, поскольку все должны были умереть, кто в городе находился. И, собственно, нас вернуло в настоящее время, а что в прошлом случилось, сейчас будем выяснять. Я dWayfer.
Oh, did that lady in the forest send you in here after me? I guess I lost track of time, learning about the history of this place, and it is extraordinary. I'm fairly certain you and I are the first people to set foot in this city for about 2,000 years. Fortunately for us, the last person in here was a Roman man named Galerius, who inscribed an account into a tablet. Apparently there was a community of 20-something people trapped in here, and living in fear of a curse they called the Golden Rule. They believed that if even one person sinned, an unknown god would cast them all into gold, like the 1,000 people who'd lived here before them. Then, one day, just as Galerius had finished praying for a good harvest at the shrine of Proserpina, an oracle appeared and told him how to solve the ills of the city, and so on. Meanwhile, the oracle walked up to the temple of the mysterious god, this one right here, and demanded an audience. And the doors just opened up to him. Nobody knows what went on in there, but Galerius wrote the oracle must have been more persuasive than Odysseus, because the next thing he knew, the ground shook and the voice of that god rang out over the city. The many have suffered long enough. Unfortunately, Galerius' account just sort of stops after that, leaving a lot of questions unanswered. What became of him and the other people who lived here? What happened to all the golden statues? And did this mysterious oracle single-handedly undo the curse that had terrorized people for hundreds of years?
Между прочим, это моих рук дело.
What? Oh, I see. For a moment there I thought you were serious. Anyway, I think I found a way out through the aqueduct that brought water into the city. Follow me.
Я за тобой. Я что-то не понял, люди выжили или нет? Ладно, сейчас с Хароном можно поговорить будет. Заодно и узнаем конец истории. Ну правильно.
I'm gonna pause here for a moment and make sure nobody else is ever lured into this temple.
Хорошая идея.
You go on ahead. I'll be there soon.
You're back. But you're alone. Does that mean you didn't find Al?
Да нет, получилось. Он сейчас подойдет.
Oh, what a relief. Thank you so much. I was beginning to think you'd both become trapped in there. Why don't you tell me what you discovered while we wait?
Мне уже известно, что твое настоящее имя Харон или Херти.
Ah, I see. I thought you might. Well, now you know. I suppose you have questions.
Кто ты на самом деле?
You can just call me Charon, if you like. I am sorry I was not completely honest with you when we first met. I do not enjoy deceiving people. That most people find comfort in familiarity.
И в чем же заключается эта правда?
That you died, of course. You, my role, as the servant of the god of the underworld. You, most soul, ask yourself.
Это уже было, собственно.
As you wish.
Пока ничего нового.
An old tomb. Unfortunate, a nearby hikers. You both fought. There was nothing. He died instant. That man's. You were each in possession. Perhaps you have heard that. Well, a long time ago, my orders were. That is a question you would have to ask him, if that were still possible. In light of the path you have chosen, I am just his servant, doing his bidding. Only now, I find myself bereft of purpose. You see, the coins on you and Al were the last of... There is nobody else to ferry here. Nobody to keep you company. I see no point in keeping you here. But I have to ask one thing. That you keep this to yourself.
Look! Here comes Al now. Al! It's so good to see you. You were gone so long I thought I'd never see you again.
Kinda lost track of time in there. You wouldn't believe what we found. The ruins of a long-forgotten city. And there was a tablet describing an oracle who confronted a god and undid an ancient curse.
Sounds like quite a story. And I look forward to hearing all about it. But you two look exhausted. Why don't you hop in my boat?
Sounds good to me.
And you? Are you...
Почему-то нет. О, а вот это что-то новое. Год спустя.
Hey, you made it. It's great to see you again. I read your book, and what the critics said about it. I guess they weren't ready for your theories about the underworld. Anyway, after everything you've been through, I thought you might appreciate some good news. So after we got back to the real world, I started doing some research into the people mentioned in Galerius's tablet, and I found something strange. I'm sorry I've been so cryptic. I've been dying to tell you. I just really wanted you to see this for yourself. Why don't you head on down there? I'll catch up with you at the other end.
Угу. Ну, наверное, это и есть самая хорошая концовка, которую можно достичь. Галерий, что ты тут делаешь?
It's a crazy story. After you disappeared, Karen appeared and told us she was returning us to the world. Even gave us some coins to help us start our lives over. Only, for some reason, she returned us to your world instead of ours. Anyway, I know we only ever had that one conversation, and I wasn't even sure if you'd remember me, but I wanted to say thanks for freeing us from the underworld and giving us a second chance at life.
Вы с Аквитией вместе?
I know. I can't believe my luck either. But we're engaged and living together. We're planning to get married next spring. If you're going to be around, we'd love to see you there.
С удовольствием. Чем занимаешься?
Oh, I used Karen's gift to buy a farm in Umbria. Got a villa on it too, with enough room for Dooley, of course. It's hard work, but I sleep soundly every night. I'm finally my own man, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
Приятно было повидаться, Галерий.
Of course, there's a whole museum full of people waiting for a chance to thank you, so you better keep moving. We'll speak again soon, my friend.
Да, остальные, видимо, тоже здесь. Даже Дули.
Hello, I'm Dooley.
Я помню, кто ты.
Galerius said you're very nice and a big helper. Thank you for getting us out of the bad place. I didn't like it.
Мне жаль, что ты так и не нашел свое сокровище.
Treasure? Oh, I forgot about that. I like my box now. Galerius got me a box that tells stories. It's my favorite thing.
Здорово, что ты теперь счастлив. Чем занимаешься?
I live at Galerius and Equitia's house. They look after me now and help me remember when I forget things, like brushing my teeth. Bye-bye.
Интересно, а Синтилия выжила?
Hey.
Гораций, Синтия, Лукреция.
Good evening.
Some soiree, innit?
А, выжила. Хорошо.
Hello there.
Привет, Синтила.
Oh, I go by Gabriella now. I didn't want to be reminded of that monster every time I heard my own name. After you drove Pluto off, Proserpina came and released me, and that monster got what was coming to him.
Мне очень жаль. Кто бы мог подумать, что это был Сентий?
Don't worry, nobody did.
Чем занимаешься?
I'm living by myself on a little vineyard in Umbria. It's something Ulpius and I used to talk about doing when we got out, and I thought that's what he would have wanted. But it's been hard. I don't know what I'm doing, and it's just not the same without him. Mostly it just reminds me he's gone.
Мне очень жаль.
Oh, it's hardly your fault. I'll be alright. In time. Thanks. You too.
Все-таки выжила. Ладно.
It's so nice to finally meet you. I've heard so much about you.
Как хорошо, что ты пришел.
I wanted to thank you personally for getting us out of there.
Чем занимаешься?
I'm studying to be an architect again and living in a beautiful flat in Rotterdam, just down the river from Nijmegen, where I grew up. Of course, it's improved immensely since I was there last. Gleaming futuristic buildings and clean streets full of educated, accepting people. You natives of the 21st century have no idea how fortunate you are. You too. If you're ever in the Netherlands, I'd be happy to show you around. It's the least I could do.
А Сенти, судя по всему, я же когда последний раз вошел, поговорил с Галерием, чтобы он всех, кроме Сентия, вывел. А он, наверное, там и остался.
It is an honor to finally meet you, Oracle.
Спасибо, Хабаш.
You know my name? Oh, of course. You are an oracle. You know many things. I too would like to offer my thanks for releasing us from that place and for your role in bringing us here. This world is truly wondrous.
Чем занимаешься?
For a time, I returned to Alexandria, but they have no need of another fisherman, and I came to see there is nothing for me there. Instead, I have decided to follow the custom of your youths and backpack the world. It is a great adventure, and I have met many people from many cultures. I spent the first 25 years of my life avoiding the 42 sins that would deny me access to the afterlife. Now, I think it is time I had some fun.
Ты заслужил.
Indeed. Thank you, Oracle.
Так.
Some soiree, innit? Ah, hello at last. You must be the Oracle I've heard so much about. I'm Daisius.
Приветствую.
Listen, I wanted to express my sincere appreciation for what you did. If it wasn't for you, I'd never been able to sell all those useless old relics I accumulated. Whatever you did in that temple made me a very wealthy man. Thank you.
Да не за что.
Most gracious of you.
Чем занимаешься? А Маллеола я пока не встретил. И вроде бы его не было здесь.
I took the money I made from selling my trinkets and started investing in the stock market. That's where the real money is now. In fact, I was hoping to ask your advice, you being the Oracle and Future Seer and all that, on which stocks I should invest in next. I can't decide between fossil fuels, tobacco, gambling and arms. What would you recommend?
К сожалению, я не могу видеть будущее.
Oh, don't be like that. You can tell your old pal Dacius. I won't take no for an answer.
Ну... DVD до сих пор продаются.
Oh, of course, yeah. I was just thinking the same thing. I'll go home and buy up as much stock as I can tonight. I'm gonna make a bloody fortune. Of course, don't let me keep you. Thanks again for the tips, my friend.
Так.
Greetings.
Как здорово, что у тебя все хорошо, Ливия.
Thank you for your kind words and for liberating us all. In all the time I was in the underworld, I never once imagined that I might end up in a place so much like Elysium.
Чем занимаешься?
I'm recovering. Octavia was kind enough to let me stay with her for a while, at least until I'm well enough to be independent again.
Не попадалось хороших поэм?
Ah, you remember that. I'm a little tired of Ovid, but that's all right. I have 2,000 years worth of poetry to catch up on now. I'm already up to the 19th century, and am quite enjoying the work of a fellow named Poe. I think I may have found a kindred spirit. Men have called me mad, But the question is not yet settled whether madness is or is not the loftiest intelligence.
Хорошо сказано.
Hello there.
And you. Farewell, friend.
Oh, hello. It's lovely to meet you. I've heard so much about you.
Приятно снова тебя увидеть, Октавия.
I'm thankful that you're here. I was sure the person who drove off the last pagan god would have more important things to do than visit the likes of us. But thank you for coming and for saving our lives. What you did was extraordinary, and I'll never forget it.
Чем занимаешься?
I'm living in Rome again, in a charming little flat by the Tiber, not far from my old place. Oh, and I'm training to be a crisis counselor. After we lost Ulpius, I spent a lot of time reflecting on what I could have done differently. I couldn't shake the feeling that if I'd just found the right words, he'd still be with us today. In the end, I decided to devote the rest of my life to helping others like him.
Ты ни в чем не виновата.
So I'm told, and I know that rationally. Maybe someday I'll believe it too. And you? Oh, and I hope this isn't too forward, but some of us are going out for a drink after this, if you'd like to join us. Wonderful. I'll see you soon.
Получается, Ульпий все-таки не спасся?
Greetings. You must be the legendary oracle. It is a sincere privilege to finally make your acquaintance. I am Georgius. I am told we have you to thank for freeing us from Hades, and for that I am most grateful.
А что произошло с Фабией?
Ah, the poor sweet thing perished in a shrine collapse before the rest of us were saved. It is the one regret I have in all this.
Жаль это слышать.
I am reacquainting myself with Greece. It has changed so much over the last 2000 years, I barely recognize it. This is at once heartbreaking and thrilling. Perhaps one day, once I have seen all of this new Greece and sampled her delights, I will settle down in Santorini in a villa overlooking the Azure Aegean Sea. I hope you will join me there and regale me with the story of how you faced off against the fearsome god of the underworld and won. You too, my friend.
Да, конечно, я ошибку совершил, сразу сказав галерею всех собирать и избегать оттуда.
I take it you're the oracle everybody's talking about. It's a pleasure to finally meet you.
Мы с тобой уже встречались, но не думаю, что ты об этом помнишь.
We have. I'm sorry, I don't remember. In any case, I'm Philip. I never thought I'd leave that cave, let alone the city. And now I'm living in the 21st century. What a time to be alive. And it seems I have your catabasis to thank for it.
Чем занимаешься?
I'm working as a consultant to the Faculty of Classics at Cambridge University, helping fill the odd gap in their knowledge. Not that I need the money, but I do love being around enlightened minds again. My sincere thanks once again.
Так.
You are here. It's nice to finally meet you. Lucy is fine. I'm making an effort to blend in, as you can see. We are all trying to keep a low profile. If the world knew we died 2,000 years ago and were suddenly brought back to life 12 months ago, they'd never leave us alone. Speaking of which, I wanted to say thank you in person. I'd say the gods smile on you, but I hear you drove the last of them off. So...
А где Юлия? А, Юлия тоже не выжила, к сожалению.
Oh, she didn't make it. She died from poison while you were in the Great Temple. It was very sad. She was a good woman and a friend. It wasn't your fault. Decius is to blame. He's here somewhere too. Not that anyone would talk to him. I'm not even sure how he got invited. I'm studying to get into medical school. As much as I resented the responsibility of keeping everyone in the city alive, when it ended, I realized I missed it. So I guess I'll just keep saving the world, if begrudgingly, one patient at a time. You too. Don't be a stranger.
Децы тоже здесь?
Hey.
О, Синтия.
I take it you're the Oracle. Thanks for coming.
Как здорово, что мы снова встретились.
Actually, I changed my name to Cynthia. I didn't want to be associated with Sentius after what happened. I'm not sure if you heard, but after you drove Pluto off, Proserpina emerged from the Great Temple. She knew right away what none of us had figured out about that psychopath. He'd been keeping my little sister locked up in the upper cistern all that time. But he's been dealt with. He's... you know what? The important thing is, we'll never see him again.
А что с ним случилось?
He's still there, all alone. The last golden statue in the underworld. Trapped in a metal shell, slowly losing his mind until the end of time. Eternal torment. Just what he deserves, if you ask me.
Он и правда как-то сказал, что хотел жить вечно.
Then I suppose he got his wish.
Чем занимаешься?
Anything I want. I'm a woman of means in a vast new world. I can go wherever and do whatever I please. Of course, I mostly just stay in my villa and have my servant Alexa summon things for me, because it's just awful out there. Barbarians everywhere. You too. See you around.
Так.
Hi there, I'm Horatius.
Приветствую.
I understand we have you to thank for giving us a second chance at life, and reuniting Centilla with us as well. So, thank you.
Чем занимаешься?
I'm living up north and studying in the military academy in Modena. I'm going to be an officer one day. The world's changed a lot, but some things stay the same. Would you believe we're still studying military tactics from my time? Alexander the Great, Caesar, Hannibal Barca. Still, I have to keep challenging myself to let go of old ways of thinking and embrace the new. As Seneca wrote, the ones who pioneered our paths aren't our masters, but our guides.
Жаль, что ты так и не увидишь свою девушку.
Ah, you remembered that. Thank you. I grieved for a time, but that's done. In the words of Epictetus, as those who rode behind triumphant generals remind them they are mortal, remind yourself your precious one isn't one of your possessions, but something given for now, not forever. Thanks. And you. Farewell.
А старичок тут самый продвинутый, судя по всему. Так, с этими я уже говорил.
Evening.
А, вот еще зал. Но здесь только один человек. А, это, скорее всего, Эл.
There you are. I hope you enjoyed that. Now, there's one more person I wanted to introduce you to. I think you know her.
А,
Sorry if I frightened you. Just a little joke I've been saving for a long, long time.
я узнаю этот голос.
Allow me to introduce myself properly. I am Proserpina, former goddess of the cycle of life and renewal. And now, a regular mortal. I wanted to meet you in person, and thank you for freeing all these people, and me. I hate to think what would have happened to us without your intervention.
То есть это ты нашептывала мне все это время?
Indeed. Suffice it to say that while Pluto was controlling the eyes and ears of each golden statue, I was able to control their tongues and whisper to you when he was distracted. I am sorry my messages were so cryptic. There were only ever brief windows in which I could speak to you without being detected.
Ты делала все, что могла, спасибо. Так значит, петля времени — это твоих рук дело?
I did. I may have given up my immortality, but I still retain my gifts as the goddess of the cycle of life and renewal. After witnessing Pluto punish countless poor souls over thousands of years, I knew this generation, the final wave, would not survive. So I tried to give them a way to buy more time. A second chance. Rather, as many second chances as they needed to avoid his wrath. So I whispered to Sentius in secret, telling him the prayer required to create a portal in my shrine. I knew the danger of humans being corrupted by godly power, and so I put a safeguard in place. I required the creator of the portal to sacrifice their own life, so that it could only be used selflessly to help others. What I did not anticipate is that Sentius would retain his accumulated memories from each previous day, and as a veteran soldier he had long since shed his fear of death. He quickly discovered that he could, in effect, prolong his own life indefinitely by exploiting the cycle. Of course, once I had taught him the prayer, I could not unteach him, and there was little I could do but wait for someone like you to come along and see him for what he was. We are all fortunate you came along when you did.
А что стало с Плутоном?
I don't know what happened to him. I haven't heard from him, and I rather hope it stays that way.
А с Хароном?
Oh, she inherited dominion over the underworld. Last time we spoke, she was working on a new world of some kind. She wouldn't say what it was, but I'd be surprised if you don't run into her again. I imagine we all will, one day.
Намек на продолжение. Надеюсь, будет. Что ж, приятно было с тобой познакомиться.
And you, although it feels like I've known you forever. Oh, and one last thing. Do you remember all those golden statues scattered throughout the city?
Конечно.
Good, because they remember you. Well done, my friend. Of all the heroes who ever journeyed to the underworld in return, none came close to achieving what you did. Hercules, Orpheus, Theseus, and Aeneas would be proud.
Ну да, вот и настоящая концовка, наверное, самая лучшая. За исключением некоторых невыживших. К сожалению. А они, наверное, тоже все, скажем так, вернулись на свою родную планету, оставив одного Плутона. Он же говорил, что там спор возник, из-за которого он один остался, остальные все улетели. Может, полубоги это были, как бы сказать, наполовину потомки инопланетян. Но все равно с ними улетели по каким-то причинам. Что ж, друзья, на этом закончим прохождение замечательной, не побоюсь этого слова, игры. Сюжет, конечно, тоже офигенный. Что ж, всем спасибо за просмотр. Не болейте и до новых встреч!